Howdy folks, welcome back. So lately I've had several questions about this Everlast TIG welder combination that I have and whether I like it or not. So I've got some material out here, and coming up I'm going to do a couple of demos and show you what this machine is capable of and what it's not capable of. I'll show you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. The way maybe if you're in the market for one of these combo machines you can decide for yourself. So let's go. So we'll do a little quick walk around here and I'll show you what I've got. So this is the Everlast. There you can see that's the model number. It's the Power Pro 205 SI. And it is a TIG stick plasma cutter combination. So I believe it gives you 50 amps of plasma cutting. It gives you 200 amps of TIG welding capability, and I believe 200 amps of stick welding capability. All right, so we'll do a demo of each and I'll show you what they're like. All right guys, so since the machine it's already set up to do plasma cutting. I was plasma cutting with it last, so we'll try plasma cutting first. You can see I've got my compressed air line hooked up to it. You're going to need compressed air for that if you're buying one of these. It comes with the little regulator and the bracket that goes on the side. So I've got the air hooked up, and it tells you there how much air pressure you've got. We'll flip it on at the back, turn on the power. Breaker at the back. Now this machine, I purchased it specifically because it came set up already for 240 volt. You can buy them for other voltages, but that's what I have here, so that's what I ordered. Go around to the front. It's already in TIG mode. Now you see there the yellow light is on. That's telling me that I do not have enough air pressure to start. Oh no, sorry, pardon me. I have enough air pressure to cut. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but it says OK to cut. If I unplug the air, the light goes up, and it gives you an error saying no, you're not ready to go. So put the air back in, and we're ready to cut. There's your modes right there. See there, TIG, cut, and stick. So we're all set there. That's how the TIG affair is set up, just like so. We got some aluminum angle iron here, and we're going to cut a chunk of that, show you how that works. Alright, so we're ready to cut. Now this torch it came with a little standoff here that makes it nice for freehand cutting. Gives you the correct distance away from the material. It comes with a few extra tips and extra cones, but you can buy these on Amazon and they're pretty reasonably priced. I don't recall what I paid for them, but it wasn't that much. Anyway, that's got a fresh tip in it there now, so we'll try it out. And it's worth mentioning that's a piece of 1/4 inch thick aluminum angle iron. So here we go. Like that. Now, if I'd have adjusted my speed a little bit, I probably could have got a nicer cut. Not perfectly straight. Leaves a little bit of slag on the edges, but it's not terrible. Alright, so now I've got a piece of 1/2 inch aluminum plate. Now, you do have to, the thicker the material, of course, you do have to go slower. Keep in mind, it's only 50 amps. It will cut the 1/2 inch aluminum plate. I'll show you what it does. It's easier to show. So it does cut through it. Now there's the cut that it gives you. I'll show you a little closer here. Hopefully you can see. It's not a fantastic cut, but it cuts it. So it is capable of doing. Every plasma cutter that I've ever used will always cut more than it says it can. But your quality of cut diminishes the thicker you get, of course. And most of you guys that have used one will already know that. Aluminum's a bit tougher to cut. It takes quite a bit of amperage to get through it. But here's a piece of 1/4 inch steel. Cut through 1/4 inch steel, no problem whatsoever. Now, keep in mind that's just a freehand cut. There's a little slag on the bottom, which is when you get better at that, when you adjust your travel speed, but usually you can knock that right off with a hammer. Not bad. Alright guys, so now we're going to set this up for TIG welding, and there's a couple things we got to do. So, we don't need the air anymore. We're done with that. So, we got to disconnect so of course I shut the power off. Now we've got to disconnect the plasma torch. So there's this remote here that's got to come out. This other wire comes off. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. And this, in my opinion, is one of the downfalls of it. It takes a few minutes to change your setup, which isn't a huge deal, but I think some of the more expensive machines, you may not have to do this. There's always a price to pay for, there's always a trade-off, right, for price. So you unhook that, this little quick connect fitting there. Just give that a half turn and it comes up. So there's our plasma torch out of the road. And of course our ground stays constant. So we get rid of that. Now we hook up our TIG torch. So there's your end of your TIG torch. Put that in, give it a half turn. Plug that little quick connect in, that's where your argon's going to come through. Give that a pretty shove to get hooked that in. Now, they do give you they give you it comes with the amp trawl pedal, sort of your throttle as it were. They also do give you the button that you can put on the torch if you so desire. If you're working off of a ladder or a piece of equipment or something. I don't use that very often. Mostly it's the foot pedal for bench work or what have you. So you plug him in there like that. Okay, and it's got that screw-on sort of military style connector. So now we have to change this over, and this is the part that I consider sort of the crappy part. This here goes into the back here where I guess there's probably a solenoid valve inside there or whatever have you. This is set up for plasma because this goes up to our regulator, of course, right? So now, since we're going to be TIG welding, we have to unscrew that and screw in our gas valve. Now this part is, I mean, like I said, it's not a huge deal. I suppose the guy could probably make himself up a manifold here so he didn't have to do that. I don't consider it a huge problem, so I've never done it. I'm sure one day I'll get irritated enough and I'll have nothing better to do and I'll probably switch that, but for now I just try and, you know, do all my plasma cutting before I do my welding or whatever. So anyway, that's one of the downfalls. Some people would be irritated by that. So here's our argon bottle. It did come with the flow meter, I believe. And we'll turn that on because we're going to get ready to do some welding here. So now we can flip the breaker back on. There she goes. It does have a bit of a noisy fan. And there we are. So now we're going to switch it over to TIG. And it's on AC, so we'll leave it on AC. We'll try some aluminum first. I've got it, the pedal. You have to make sure you have that on there. And then there's a pulse function, which I rarely use. I didn't really have that way back in the day when I first started welding. That's something relatively new to me. I have used it, but I don't use it a whole lot. It works really well if you're welding something thin. A lot of the food industry guys that weld real thin stainless pipe and stuff, they use that. It keeps it from putting too much heat into the material, and it gives you a real nice, like the laid together dimes sort of look. It looks really, really professional. Now, I rarely use it, but it does have that capability if you want it. Alright guys, so since the torch was already set up for aluminum, it had the proper tungsten in it already, we'll go ahead and weld a little bit of aluminum here. Now this does have square wave technology, and for anybody who doesn't know what that is, it sort of balances the frequency so that you get you can change it between penetration and cleaning. It helps clean the oxide away. I'm sure I'm not explaining this 100% right, but that really wasn't a thing when I first started out, and every time I use a new welder it just seems to get better and better all the time. It really makes a difference, and with welding aluminum, that's one of your biggest sort of hold-ups. That's why a lot of people aren't very good at it. It's being able to clean the material properly, prep it properly. So with the way this one works, you can balance it between, on the machine, you can balance between cleaning and penetration. And it just sort of pushes the oxide out of the way. And you'll see what I mean in a minute here. It's been a day or two since I've done this, so you may have to bear with me. So, as it turns out, folks, I started welding that aluminum piece of angle iron, and stupid me, I had a piece of stainless steel filler rod instead of aluminum, and I was wondering why I was making such a mess and what the hell I was doing wrong. Anyway, so it turned out to be quite a mess, so I'm not going to show you that. I don't have any aluminum filler rod. I've run out. Anyway, rather than look like an idiot, I'll show you something I did weld with it a while back. I welded up this shelf bracket with this welder. So we've got, like, I think that's a 1/4-inch flat bar with a 3/16 wall piece of angle, and that's what we ended up with. So anyway, I do have some steel filler rod, so we'll throw a bead on here and I'll show you how that goes. So now we're going to have to switch it over as we were trying to weld aluminum on AC. Now we want to go to DC because we're going to weld some steel here, and in around there might be good. Let's see if I can't redeem myself. I'm looking like a fool. I was in a rush. I didn't know that I was out of material. Anyway, you're going to get the idea here. Do it with my offhand here so you can see better, hopefully. That's where she came out. Now it's a little crooked and squiggly because I was using my left hand, and my glasses are dirty and I'm old and I can't see anymore. But anyway, you get the idea. That's what you're going to end up with. That's a piece of 1/8 material, by the way. Alright, so you get the idea. Alrighty guys, now we'll try some stick welding, and I have to admit, since I bought this, I think I've had this machine for maybe 3 years now. I have not tried the stick function on this. I do very little stick welding at home nowadays. However, for the sake of being thorough, I mean, I gotta be honest, I really bought this machine for the TIG and plasma combination. That was sort of those were the two things I wanted. So I really didn't care about the stick function, to be honest. However, there is a need for it every once in a while, so this is going to be a first for me as well. I've not tried this on this machine. We're going to give it a go here. Let's see what it's like. So, bear with me here. We'll fire this up. Alright there, so we're on our stick function now. We've got it. So the stick function gives us a maximum of 160 amps. So I have 1/8 rods. So I don't know what we want. Maybe there. I don't know. We will see how it reacts at that amperage. Alrighty. Well, first time, let's give this a shot. Try and weld it so you can see. It's always funny, you never know how it's going to show up on camera. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I don't know what it is. Anyhow, let's give it a shot. Seem too bad. One of the tricky things for me about welding is, I'm sure you guys, any of you guys who weld a lot know this, what you hear is very important, how it sounds. I'm deaf as hell. I wear hearing aids most of the time, and the sound that I get through the hearing aids, it's very, very different. So I've sort of had to retrain myself as I've gotten older and I've had to wear these hearing aids. Generally, I try not to wear the hearing aids when I'm doing this. However, then I don't know how loud I'm talking into the camera. So, in any case, I'm making lots of excuses, I know. Let's see what it looks like. I don't think that looks too bad. For my preference, that's a little cold. I always weld a little hotter. A lot of guys tell me I weld too hot, but I don't know, it's just one of my many shortcomings, I suppose. Let's try a few more amps, not a lot. We'll try a few more and see what we get there. Let's try that again. Come on. Seem too bad. It's a little rough getting started. That could just be me. Those rods could be a little on the damp side, it's hard to say. Been out here for a while, so that don't look too bad. I'd like it a little hotter than that. Let's try going a little hotter, why not? Well, let's give her a full throttle just for the hell of it. Well, that's probably a little hotter than it needs to be for the 1/4 inch material, but you know, maybe somewhere in the middle there, maybe 145 amps or something like that. But anyway, alright, so that's where we came out, folks. You can see there, I was a bit hotter, maybe a bit hotter than it needed to be, but that one seemed pretty decent. As you saw, it was a little hard starting, and that could be me. I don't know. It seems to me that it's a little stressful starting the arc with this machine. I've used better, that's for sure. But it definitely burns a 1/8 rod with no problem whatsoever. Alrighty folks, there you have it. There's all three functions of this multi-function machine, combination machine. The stick function, it works okay. It's not as smooth as some that I've used. I've used much smoother stick welders that were 40, 50 years old. However, I don't want to pick on the stick function too much, because that could have been me, the hard starting and whatnot. I didn't buy it for the stick function anyway. I wanted the TIG and plasma combination, and I'm very impressed with those. I generally only use the plasma function for thinner materials anyways, because you're limited to the 50 amps. So as you saw, it does struggle with the thicker aluminum, but in any event, it does what I want. The TIG function is great. I've used it a lot. I've built several pull tractor frames with it, and it's A1. I'm very impressed for the price. So that leaves price. Everyone wants to know, what did I pay for this? I believe out the door it was $2,300, including tax. That's Canadian dollars. I ordered it directly from Everlast, and they shipped it to me for free. And that was about 3 years ago now, so that may have changed. Everything has changed, so don't take that to the bank. But I think if I was going to buy it again, I think I would buy the model up from this, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, had the water-cooled torch. If you're going to do lots of aluminum, thicker aluminum, you're going to want that, because that torch does get real hot after a bit, and it's hard to hang on to. But I hope that helps, guys. If you're in the market for one of these combination machines, and you're on a budget, for a guy like me, this worked out really, really well. You're probably going to pay double, if not more, for a Lincoln or a Miller or an ESOB or something that's roughly the same size. So I definitely do recommend these. They're not paying me to say this. This is all of my own free will. I paid for all of the things you see here. For that $2,300, you get the welding machine, you get the plasma torch, the TIG torch, and the stick whip, as well as your ground, of course. The amp trowel pedal for TIG welding, the handheld button for the TIG welding torch. The cart was separate. I bought that extra, and it's a little chintzy. It's not heavy duty. It does what it needs to do. I can move it out of my way, whatever. But I don't know. I think it might have been $80 or $100 for the cart. Yeah, wasn't terribly impressed with that, but for the price, you get what you pay for, and I'm very happy with it so far. So if you guys are in the market for a combination machine on a budget, I highly recommend this Everlast machine. Anyway, that's going to do it, guys. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.